Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for our inaugural Culture Stole ceremony at St. Ambrose. We'd like to start today with Father Thomas Hannon, our campus chaplain, with some opening prayer. Father Tom.
Reading from the book of Revelation. I had a vision of a great multitude, which no one could count, from every nation, race, people, and tongue. They stood before the throne and before the Lamb, wearing white robes and holding palm branches in their hands. They cried out in a loud voice, "Salvation comes from our God, who is seated on the throne, and from the Lamb." Let us pray. Loving God of every nation, race, people, and tongue, we come before you today to celebrate the achievements of the fall 2020 graduates of St. Ambrose University. We recognize that we are one human family, that we are one Ambrosian family. We are diverse in our unity, and we are stronger in our diversity. We ask your blessing upon these graduates who represent various peoples and cultures. May they know your peace and be ambassadors of that peace in the midst of a fractured and suffering world. We ask your blessing upon our university family that we may live up to the values we profess and be a place of welcome to all students. We ask you to bless our world and to drive from it every form of prejudice, racism, and discrimination. May we live in true harmony with you, with each other, and with all creation. This we ask of you, O God, living and true, and in your most holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Father Tom. I want to take a second to thank you everyone for joining us and honoring and celebrating our graduates. This ceremony is about 3 years in the making of thoughtful planning, deliberation, and commitment from the university as a whole, from our university president, Sister Joan Lashinsky, from our provost, Dr. Paul Cook, working hand in hand with our office as we try to find a way to develop a program to honor and celebrate our students of color and from diverse backgrounds as they achieve this great and momentous day. As we go through the celebration, I wanted to both be a somber celebration, but yet a joyful celebration. I asked our participants and our graduates to think about the family members, the friends, the elementary school teacher, the high school teacher, the person that encouraged you to get to this point. I want you to think about the people that are with us still, carrying on the legacy of your family, understanding that every decision that has been made in your family has helped you get to this point. But I want us to be celebratory. Celebrate this momentous occasion. Celebrate everything that you have brought to our university and how you as an individual have made our university a better university. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to our president, Sister Joan Lashinsky.
Thank you, Fritz. Good afternoon. Obviously, we all wish this could be virtual, not virtual, but in person today. And I want to thank Fritz and Ryan and all those for their kind invitation to me to offer just a few words at what is for us today an historic ceremony. As we know, diversity is one of our core values. It's a guiding principle to which we aspire at St. Ambrose University. As with our mission statement and our vision, we constantly examine where we stand regarding these critical ideas, mission, vision, values. And we seek to find ways constantly to enhance our efforts so that we can achieve positive outcomes for all of our St. Ambrose community. We know that it is crucial that in this process that we engage in, our behaviors and our actions need to match our words. I'm deeply appreciative of the leadership that Fritz and Ryan and others provide on our campus to ensure that we continue to move forward in our understanding of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that our actions make these words become real and living among us. We know that this is an ongoing journey in which we have not yet achieved our full destination, but in which we are determined to continue along. All of us know that in every world religion, symbols are very important. Today, as you don these stoles that symbolize your heritage, know that they serve as an outward and visible sign to all of us of an inward belief that we share here at St. Ambrose. That is, they proclaim the God-given dignity and worth of every person, and they celebrate both your heritage and your achievements and the world that you will help us all to create. I promise to join you in that effort. Please know that all of you are in my thoughts and my prayers at this holiday season and at this time of the celebration of your achievement. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and I am proud, joyful, and humbled to celebrate this ceremony with you today. Thank you and congratulations.
It is my pleasure to read the bio of our distinguished board of trustee and alum, Lisa Chavez, who is our speaker for this afternoon. Lisa Chavez is the senior vice president and compliance director for Wells Fargo Bank. She is responsible for leading an independent risk management program providing oversight of compliance with regulatory requirements for customer tax withholding and reporting for all the bank's lines of business in geographic regions. Before joining Wells Fargo, Lisa was an executive director at Ernst & Young, where she advised financial institutions on their compliance with global tax withholding and information reporting obligations. Prior to that, she was the global head of tax compliance at the Northern Trust Company, where she created and managed a customer tax compliance program. Before taking on that role, Lisa was senior legal counsel at the Northern Trust Company, responsible for advising on U.S. tax matters and the application of U.S. income tax treaties in cross-border transactions. Before entering the field of financial services, Lisa was an associate attorney for law firms in Chicago, specializing in the area of federal income tax law, tax-exempt organizations, and employee benefits. While in law school, she worked as a summer intern in the White House, Office of Counsel to the President. Lisa earned her BA in accounting from St. Ambrose University, Davenport, Iowa in 1988, and worked in the fields of public accounting and internal audit for 5 years before earning her JD from the University of Chicago Law School. She is a licensed attorney and is based in Chicago. Lisa enjoys hiking through forests and exploring ancient sacred places. At this time, please welcome Lisa Chavez, St. Ambrose Board of Trustee member and Ambrose alum. Lisa.
Thank you, Ryan, for that very kind introduction. And I want to ask, can I be heard since I'm coming through remotely? Everything's okay. First, I'd like to say I'm honored to join you today to recognize the accomplishments of these St. Ambrose graduates and to acknowledge the significance of their upcoming commencement. First, allow me to congratulate each of you for your academic accomplishments. In this very difficult environment in which we are living today, this is particularly impressive, as each of you have been forced to adapt to the constant changes on campus and the world around you, while remaining focused on achieving your goals. We acknowledge your resilience. Whether you are the first person in your family to earn a college degree, or you are continuing a long tradition of higher education in your family, or somewhere in between, you arrive here today on the shoulders of all those who have come before you. You carry the hopes and dreams of your ancestors in your bones, and the cultural identities that you recognize today honor them. You also continue the march of great leaders as this country's journey to full freedom and equality for all of its citizens and residents continues. And you will have opportunities to influence the progress of that journey as you go out into the workforce or continue to advance your academic careers. There will no doubt be challenges. And those challenges you will see in your personal, your academic, and your professional lives as you emerge into a rapidly changing world of great uncertainty. Take some time today and in the weeks ahead to celebrate how far you have come and to remember the people in your lives whose hard work and perseverance inspired you to keep going, and draw upon that love and that strength when you need it. During the times in my life when I have struggled and was tempted to give up and take an easier path, I think about my grandmother, Rosario. She grew up on a ranch in Mexico in the early 1900s, enjoying every privilege of the landowners of that time, and spent her days as a young woman learning to embroider and make lace. She was not expected to cook or clean or do any manual labor. And at first glance, that may sound like a pretty nice life. But in Mexico at that time, she was the property of her father and was promised in marriage to the owner of a neighboring ranch, a man 40 years her senior who had a reputation for cruelty. Rosario was in love with a local shoemaker whose proposal had been denied by her family. And on a chilly evening in 1920, she left her home with nothing but the clothes and coat and boots she was wearing and her rosary to attend novena to Our Lady of Guadalupe. After that novena, she never looked back. She ran away with the shoemaker, my grandfather, Apolonio Chavez. They boarded a train north, and the young woman who days prior had been sewing lace for her dolls found herself ankle deep in mud picking beets in a field. She birthed her first child in a cantaloupe field and continued working with that baby, my uncle, on her back. My grandmother was strong and brave and knew that once she left Mexico, there was no going back for her. She and my grandfather worked picking crops until my grandfather found work in Iowa at a factory building tractors, International Harvester. Over time, he saved enough money to open his own small business, a shoe repair shop. When my grandmother was in her final years, she told me many stories of the life she lived in Mexico and the life she made in the U.S. for her children. But it was no fairy tale. There were many times when she struggled, but she kept going, and she has inspired me to do the same. As we enter this week of Thanksgiving, take some time to think about and give thanks for all the people who faced challenges and kept going so that you could be born into this world and be who you are today. I was also blessed with having teachers and family members and mentors to help me along the way and provide opportunities and information that my family wasn't able to provide. You likely have had people like those in your lives as well, who believed in you and helped you build your faith in your own abilities. When I was a sophomore in high school, I got a job as a bookkeeper at a small accounting firm. And the owners of that accounting firm, John and Georgina Herr, were my mentors and a second set of parents to me. Mr. Herr had attended Notre Dame and Mrs. Herr had attended St. Mary's, and they encouraged me, a poor kid from the wrong side of the tracks, to go to college, even promising to loan me the money to pay for it. Due in large part to their faith in me and their relentless tutoring, I earned scholarships and never had to take them up on that promise. They changed my life by offering me a view into a life I never could have dreamed of as a child. Mr. and Mrs. Herr also taught me things that helped me succeed at a time when success requires assimilation, becoming part of the corporate culture of the 1980s. If I had it to do over again, I would tell my 21-year-old self to be a bit braver, to speak up more, and to challenge the discriminatory behavior and bias I encountered in those early years in the workplace. I would correct the bosses who couldn't be bothered to pronounce my name correctly, and I would not apologize for not being able to speak Spanish. But I wouldn't change the steps I took to navigate the unwritten rules for success in the accounting firm, and later the law firm cultures in which I built the foundations of my career. Like it or not, graduates, it is important to have awareness of the culture of the organization you're working in. And some degree of assimilation is often necessary in order to gain a foothold into a position where you are more free to bring yourself to work and pave the way forward for others that come after you so that you're in a position to change things. When I made the transition from working in a relatively progressive law firm to working as in-house counsel in a very conservative bank, my boss took me aside and gave me two pieces of advice. First, she told me that I had to wear a suit every day with a skirt, not pants. And second, and more importantly, that I needed to tone it down in meetings with my internal clients who were the bank's white male business leaders. She told me I needed to adopt a less aggressive tone. Initially, I did not take that advice well. I was angry, and I responded that if I were a man, we would not be having this conversation, and I would be commended for my forceful tone and viewed as a decisive leader. Nancy smiled and asked me, "Are you a man?" She told me that if I was going to succeed in that environment, in that corporate culture, especially as a Latina, I would need to adapt my style. And through painstaking feedback, I did so and dealt with the biases in my environment. And I was successful in that position. I gained the trust and respect of my peers and the executives that I advised. I didn't forget who I was, but I did change my style. Over time, we started wearing pantsuits, and years later, when I had a young female attorney reporting to me who wanted to come back to work after having her first child, we negotiated the first part-time arrangement that legal department had ever allowed. Today, that young woman is the mother of 3 and is the lead tax attorney in the bank's legal department. It was a very different time in 1988 when I entered the workplace than it is now for all of you. Much progress has been made in recognizing and appreciating diversity since then and creating more inclusive organizations, but there remains much work for improvement. The world you are going out into as you take the next step in your personal, academic, and professional lives is a rapidly changing world that even just a year ago, none of us could have imagined. You will need to flow with those changes and adapt in order to survive and thrive. Call upon your ancestors to inspire you. Call upon their strength, the strength of all who have gone before you, and ask for help when you need it. You are surrounded by community, of friends, family, St. Ambrose community, alumni, teachers, staff. Reach out and ask for help when you need it. You are special. You bring to the table your own unique cultural experiences and can influence others to challenge their unconscious biases, and to see the world through a broader lens. You can create the change you want to see in the world, and we all look forward to witnessing your future successes. Thank you. Congratulations and best wishes.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for everything that you shared. Hopefully, all of those that are listening took something from that that'll be beneficial for all of our futures. Now we are coming to the point of the presentation of stoles. Here you'll be able to see each stole that will represent each culture that we are honoring today. So our first graduate is Ms. Guadalupe Montes. She is receiving a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science and is representing the Hispanic and Latinx community. We asked each student a series of questions, extracurricular activities or societies they participated in while on campus, their immediate future plans, family and friends that they may be grateful for and want to honor, and advice they'd like to share. So in response to any extracurricular activities, she participated in the SAU Her Campus organization and computer club. As far as her immediate future plans, Guadalupe is hopefully getting into a full-time position as a software engineer. She would like to honor her mother, her father, and her brother, and her advice is to never, ever underestimate yourself. You are exactly where you are. Accomplishing what you thought at one point might be the impossible. Our next graduate is Sadie Espino. She's receiving a Bachelor's of Psychology and representing the Hispanic and Latinx community. Immediate plans are to plan to continue for her master's in speech language pathology. We'd like to honor her mother and father, and it's to find people in your same major and become acquainted. Helpful information there. This graduate is Alexis Fuentes, and we are honoring her as she achieves her Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree. Our next grad, Austin Herrera. Austin is receiving a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice with a minor in pre-law and is representing the Hispanic community. Immediate plans would be to become a police officer leading up to being an FBI agent. Austin would like to honor both of his parents for helping him through college and helping him to get on a good career. Advice is to strive to be your best at what you want to do in life. Our next graduate is Lamont Johnson Jr. Lamont is achieving his Master's of Organizational Leadership and is representing the Black and African American community. Lamont was a football coach for 2017 through 2019. Currently, he's coaching slot receivers at Concordia of Ann Arbor while working on a master's in student personnel and higher education and administration. He would love to honor his family, parents, sisters, and nieces, his men, Steve Bravo Brown, Paul Mercer, friends, and childhood college friends as well. Advice would be to believe in your abilities and the work you put in. God put you in this position for a reason. Our next graduate, Aiko Mendoza. Aiko is receiving a Bachelor's of Science in Behavioral Neuropsychology with a minor in biology. She's representing the Asia Pacific Islander community. As far as organizations she participated in or clubs, she was in the Women's Gulf, Student Conduct Review Board, and Summer Research Institute. Her immediate plans are to attend the State University Occupational Therapy degree program and graduate in the class of 2024. She would like to honor her parents. They worked hard to support her sisters, and she and her sisters to give them a quality education that would set them up for the future. Her advice, the golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated. Compassion is a gift that human beings have the power to give to others. Everybody has their own story that we may or may not know or understand. See the potential, the good in everybody, and they may become just the blessing or lesson you needed. Our next graduate is Jessica Maria Mantuango. Jessica is graduating with her Bachelor's of Business Administration and represents the Hispanic and Latinx community. In the immediate future, she says, I will continue to work for the trade super law. In a few years, go back to law school as well. She would like to honor her son, Julian Longo. If it were not for him, she wouldn't be where she is today. Jose and Diana Montalongo, her parents, she says that she appreciates all of their help that they have given over the years. Advice would be, don't let people tell you you can't do anything. Prove to everyone what you can do and show them wrong. Our next grad, Michelle K. Ray. Michelle is receiving her Bachelor's of Arts in Sociology with a minor in Psychology and representing the Black and African American community. Her immediate plans are to be a clinical operations at Planned Parenthood, and she would like to honor her daughter, Jennifer Ray Jones, and SAU Associate Registrar William J. Nicolier, who supported and encouraged her endeavors to finish her degree after 34 years. Her advice is that it is never too late to pursue your dreams. Our next graduate, Hugo Rodriguez. Hugo is receiving his Bachelor's of Art in Philosophy, with minors in Theology and Art. Hugo is representing the Hispanic and Latin community. Hugo participated in campus ministry while here. Future plans are to work for the Diocese of Davenport's Multicultural Ministry. He would love to honor his parents, Elvira Guevara and Rodriguez. And his advice is love trumps everything. Our next graduate is Jordan Ray Sanchez. Jordan is receiving her Bachelor's of Art in Psychology and represents the Hispanic and Latinx community. While here, Jordan was a part of the National Honor Society. Her future plans are to continue her education for Master's in Speech and Language Pathology. She would like to honor her mother and father, Mike and Christina, and her advice is if you can dream it, you can do it. Our next graduate is Brittany A. Slater. Brittany is receiving her Bachelor's of Art in Psychology with a criminal justice minor. She is representing the Black and African American community. While here, Brittany was a part of BSU, Chemistry Club, the NAACP, MACA, and student government. Future plans are to work as a student support liaison for Davenport School District and to pursue her master's in social work. She would love to honor God, her mother, and her Aunt Vicky. And her advice are to keep pushing. Her advice is to keep pushing no matter what. Our next graduate is Nikita Smith. Nikita will be graduating with her Bachelor's of Arts in Elementary Education. Our next graduate, Amberly Ashley Solorzano. I appreciate everyone's patience as I am pronouncing all beautiful names, and I apologize if I am getting any of them wrong, but we're just here to honor you. Amberly is graduating with her Master's of Public Health. She is representing the Hispanic and Latinx community. As far as future plans, she says that she plans to find a career in public health that allows her to contribute to the fight for social justice and health equity for all persons. She would like to honor her father for supporting her and her brother for inspiring her as well, her MPH professors for encouraging and believing in her, as well as her grandparents for always showing interest in her work. Her advice, take every opportunity, be confident, and you will be successful. Our next graduate, Caroline Tiango. Caroline is graduating with her Bachelor's of Science in Nursing and represents the Black and African American community. Her future plans are to support students from vulnerable communities. She would like to honor her mother, and she says of her mother, she has been a source of inspiration when she feels like giving up. She's very encouraging and supportive of her education. Her mother is her lifeline. Advice would be, a dream does not become reality by magic. One has to focus on a set goal and work hard to achieve it. Our next graduate, Akeem J. Woods. Hakeem is graduating with his Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics and represents the Black and African American community. Immediate plans are to get into the workforce and spend more time with his family and friends. He would like to honor his parents, Bonnie and Moses Woods Sr., for their faithful and loving support. He would also love to honor his brother, Jabari Woods, for his incredible friendship. His advice would be to walk by faith, not by sight. It is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
Thank you, Ashley. And I'd like to say thank you to all of those that worked behind the scenes to make this day possible. It is truly an honor to be able to have this ceremony where we are able to celebrate the joys and the triumph of this moment for you graduates of color. This is something, as Fritz said earlier, that has been in the works for some time. And it is a necessary piece, especially at this time, as we look to all of the challenges that we've seen throughout our land, throughout our nation. Our long history here at St. Ambrose leads us to this point. So we realize as we look back at our past as a university, we're able to allow you to look back and hope that each of you graduates and everyone on this WebEx today, we're able to look back at your past, reflect upon, as Lisa spoke, I reflected upon the many victories I had and the challenges I had throughout my own journey. As we heard the challenges that Lisa spoke of, we also heard the victories and the lessons that she learned from each of them. And so may the words that she shared with us be words of encouragement to each of you graduates. Each of you that have now, you will be able to don that cultural and ethnic stole as you commence this ending of your St. Ambrose and beginning into the world of work for many of you, and some of you have already been working. We have undergrads and graduate students that will be donning their stole this December. Congratulations to you. This moment means a lot to your parents, to your family, to your friends. This moment means a lot to you. It's a moment where you may not realize, maybe you do, the weight that you've carried has been the weight of the expectancy for you to get here today. The weight of your ancestors, the weight of your family. As Lisa was a first-generation student, some of you are first-generation. The weight of that will be lifted, but not totally, because the expectancy is still there, that you continue to prosper, that you continue to move forward. And we want you to understand and know that those of us that are here at St. Ambrose, as we have been with you throughout your journey, we will continue to be with you as you move on outside of this university. As we look here in the spirit of Thanksgiving this week that we will celebrate, we ask that each of you on this call today are thankful, reminded of those individuals who you are to be thankful for. With the advisement that we are not to gather together with family and friends as we normally would, nothing can keep us from being thankful from those who have allowed us and helped us along this way, along this journey that we now travel. Those stoles, the characteristics of what we believe a St. Ambrose education means, and an Ambrose alum, characteristics of lifelong learning and knowledge, humility and strength, faith, and trust in God. So now, on behalf of Sister Joan, President of St. Ambrose University, on behalf of Paul Cook, Provost of St. Ambrose University, Lisa Chavez, our speaker today, on behalf of St. Ambrose University and the many employees that have enjoyed watching you on this journey, we say congratulations. We say thank you as well for allowing us to be a part of your journey. We ask that you now go in peace. Be mindful, COVID is real. Be safe. God bless you. And this concludes our program. Thank you and good evening.